I want to segue into something completely different and talk about a politician who's been making the news a lot lately.
Cancel culture. Is it not working fast enough?
You know what we need to cancel? COVID.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah. There's a Republican politician from Georgia named Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I will henceforth refer to as Captain Wacky.
You know, it really bothers me how often these days being a nerd and being a political junkie are confusing me, because I kept seeing people complaining about Magic the Gathering, going, what the hell is going on? What did Magic the Gathering do? Before realizing MTG is Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, that's why I'm not calling her MTG.
Same thing with when the new Legend of Zelda game Age of Calamity came out, and I kept seeing people say, you know, please don't post AOC spoilers on Twitter, going, how can you post spoilers about a congresswoman? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I think Captain Wacky is a much more appropriate nickname for her, and she is in the spotlight right now. This is what I like about the post-Trump era in which we live, in that the world of politics is boring, and now instead of hearing every day about what our president has said at 2:00 in the morning to outrage literally everybody and offend everybody, now we're just hearing about a representative who... Yeah,
it's a good point. There's time now to let a controversy really, you know, settle into the news cycle, whereas during Trump's 4 years, they happened so fast that by the time you realized one insane thing had happened, you'd already forgotten it because the next insane thing had already happened.
Right. And I wonder too if it's right to say that congressmen, congresswomen are easily replaceable. Like they're talking about stripping her of her commitments. So I would like, and because I know nothing about this, would love to know if it's just easy enough to just pluck her out and replace her with someone else, or if you need to go through the whole process of like a recall election.
No, so just removing her from her committee positions. The Democrats, I believe, already have the votes necessary to do it. They've got like 51 votes, and I think that's all they need. Now, to actually remove her entirely from Congress would be more difficult. I don't think there's anything that can be done to fully expel her like that quite so easily. And also, I mean, that's the interesting thing about Congress versus the Senate is, by and large, our senators tend to be more moderate than our Congress people. On both sides of the aisle, our senators tend to be more moderate Democrats and moderate Republicans, whereas in Congress you get a lot of like really hardcore firebrand, very far left progressive Democrats and very far right conservative Republicans. And it's tough because like Marjorie Taylor Greene ran unopposed in her district in Georgia. There's essentially a 0% chance she will ever be replaced so long as she continues to keep running in her district. Like, unless there is a massive effort to primary her with another less crazy Republican, but that rarely happens. Primary challenges over the past decades have almost unanimously been more to the edges than back to the center. Again, on both sides, Democratic congresspeople who get primary tend to get primary from the left and Republicans from the right. So it's just an interesting example of how insular and how, you know, people talk about the bubble, the liberal and conservative bubbles we live in, and how it is in many ways geographic, not just on social media, is you'll get entire counties where no one has ever met a Democrat. they just don't know that they exist. They don't understand them. And vice versa with, areas where there just isn't a serious Republican presence. So it makes understanding each other's point of views extremely difficult. So long as that continues to be the case, I think we're going to see more Marjorie Taylor Greene style characters, a full Super Friends trifecta of Captain Wackies coming to Congress. I think that's in our future.
And again, something else that has been exacerbated and perpetuated by the internet, by social media, the hardcore conspiracy theorists. Now, if you don't know anything about Captain Wacky, she's basically Alex Jones, but with long, flowing blonde hair. She believes that Sandy Hook was a hoax and that Parkland was a hoax. She's questioned 9/11. My favorite is that the California wildfires, according to her, were sparked by Zionist space lasers.
I forgot about that one, but yeah.
And the worst part of all is that she's in cahoots with ex-president Donald Trump.
Yes. I do, just as a brief aside, want to say shortly before we started, I saw a Twitter post that I thought you'd like. It was an excerpt from an article about Trump saying that since he lost his Twitter account, he's taken to writing down insults for people he dislikes and giving them to others in the hopes they will tweet them for him. And then someone shared that image, and then next to it the image of www.creedthoughts.www.
Nice. Yes, I do appreciate that. I will say I do like, and I really hope this eventually happens to Captain Wacky, because she's now I want it to happen on principle. And hell, this might just completely invalidate literally everything we just talked about with cancel culture. But like, I don't know if actively on Twitter she does enough to warrant this. But at the same time, I would love for just her account to be deactivated, a la Mike Liddell.
Yes.
Because boy, is that man just dumb.
Did you see the Newsmax interview with him?
I haven't read it. I've seen a thing about it. He actually caused someone on Newsmax to actually storm out of the interview.
Yeah, he kept trying to spread the election was stolen, and one of the anchors, and now mind you, Newsmax is a very conservative outlet. These are the pro-Trump of the pro. These are the people who make Fox News look like MSNBC. One of the anchors kept saying, like, look, I'm legally obligated to read from this script telling you that we have not been able to verify any claims about election fraud. We have found that the election results were correctly and properly certified and that Joe Biden was the winner of the election. Every single outlet, including Newsmax, has reported on this. And Liddell just ignored him, just kept talking, not even flinching to listen to what he was saying, until the guy just got up and walked away. And the last 30 seconds of the interview are Mike Liddell just ranting at an empty chair.
Wow. I mean, there are people in a control room that could just cut the man off. We saw this happen on every major media outlet when Trump would hold a press conference to start spewing out conspiracy theories. And everyone would just pull away and be like, yeah, we're not showing this. This is
right.
Yeah.
Fact check. No.
I don't know about Trump. It's only assumed. But Mike Liddell, very open about his previous crack addiction. And I use the word previous loosely because no sober individual could have that thought process.
Yeah, he does have a lot of mannerisms of someone who is actively on cocaine.
Speaking of someone who snorts the booger sugar regularly.
There's a couple of nose clams. And, what's interesting is Trump claims to be completely dry, does not drink, does not smoke, does not do any drugs at all. I feel like, even aside from the fact that he lies about everything compulsively, even if we were to take him at his word for that, I feel like there'd be sort of weasel room for pharmaceuticals. Like I've heard a lot of people reference him doing Adderall, like a lot before debates when he would sniff compulsively. Apparently that's a side effect of taking too much Adderall. So things like that would not surprise me at all.
Interesting. I made a bet a long time ago for Talk Radio Meltdown as a compilation of Trump just sniffing.
Yeah.
Breathing
it's
heavily.
just one of those weird things that seems out of character with everything else about him. But apparently his brother died of alcoholism. And since then, Trump has never touched a drop of alcohol. And it's like, that's just like a weirdly normal human thing when everything else about him is like a cartoon alien.
Not to mention the incredibly poor diet that he possesses for a man of his age.
Oh, what? So you're not going to kill yourself this specific way, but you're still going to eat a McDouble fish fillet every night for dinner.
Right. And your well-done steak slathered in ketchup. Yeah. Not to mention Mike Lindell, just stupid in that emerging from the White House holding insurrection documents in full view where everyone could see them. Lindell, I keep saying Lindell, it's Lindell. It's not Chuck Lindell. Michael J. Lindell, but yeah. Hopefully he remains what he is, the CEO of a failing company.
Tying all this together, the Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mike Lindell is David Hogg, who was, famously one of the Parkland shooting survivors.
Oh yeah,
who went on to become a national figure as a gun safety advocate. I've been seeing him. He's been getting in a very aggressive back and forth Twitter war with Marjorie Taylor Greene ever since a few days ago. Footage from shortly after the Parkland shooting was unearthed on Twitter and went viral of her following him around DC, yelling conspiracy theories at him, like, David, why do you pretend that this shooting happened? David, why are you trying to take away our Second Amendment rights? David. So he's been like pretty fantastically trolling her back and forth.
Good.
But apparently he is, I'm assuming legitimately, looking into starting a MyPillow competitor specifically to take Mike Lindell out of business completely.
Amazing.
Like I saw him and a couple of other people were tweeting and looking for basically as many endorsements they could. Like they were basically trying to get NASA to endorse their alternative pillow. Like, our pillow is endorsed by rocket scientists as truly the best designed pillow you can get on the market. So, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying about cancel culture. Is I think a lot of this is inherently capitalist, and I think that's a good thing. We're using our wallets to get people to shut the fuck up. And it's ironic that so often these people complaining, oh, I'm being canceled, oh, the mob's out to get me, are the people who are so staunchly pro-free market. And it's like, well, yeah, dude, people deciding they don't want to buy your shitty product because you're a lunatic is the free market working at peak efficiency. That's all it is.
I was looking at David Hogg's Twitter account and looking for like the most recent Captain Wacky exchange that he's had. And he retweeted this, and then I guess the Lincoln Project also posted it yesterday. But he retweeted this 10 hours ago. I'll just play the audio here. I haven't listened to this. It's got 2.9 million views on Twitter, and it's only 10 seconds long. So let's see how relevant this is. He posted it and saying to Captain Wacky, why do you just walk away? Are you a coward like you called me for being when I walked away as you threatened to kill me and my staff? Here we go.
You are a joke. Have a good one.
No.
Have a good one. You are a joke. I'm looking forward to Ossoff winning.
America. You know,
I do appreciate America. Have a great one.
So what's happening in there is this dude going to take a selfie with her. Mm-hmm. He pulled up the video camera and trolled her and did that. Oh, now that is American right there. Yeah, that's how you do it. So, the latest update from the Associated Press says that House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy not budging on the Democrats' moves to have her stripped of her committees. However, he's not also supporting any of her comments, past or present, including her conspiracy theories. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on that one. I hate to sound like our previous Republican leaders and saying we'll see what happens, but that's the latest update.
Yeah, I think this is the big quintessential dilemma of the Republican Party these days, is they have to decide, do they want to be the party of Marjorie Taylor Greene's, or do they want to be a party that says, no, thank you, please get the fuck out? And now, worth noting, I think, I forget if it was McCarthy or someone else, but I did see a counter proposal was brought forth. Instead of expelling Greene, they want to expel Ilhan Omar, the controversial member of the Squad from Minnesota. And I feel like in that regard, she has said controversial things. She has made comments that were widely decried as anti-Semitic. And the Democrats proceeded to censure her of their own will. And she has apologized and tried to improve on that front.
Yep.
So I feel like, again, that's kind of one reason why I consider myself a proud Democrat over a Republican or an independent, is the Democrats aren't perfect, but they make an effort to hold themselves to a certain set of standards, whereas the Republicans are more win at any cost. If Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to fucking set herself on fire while screaming that the Jewish lasers did it, that's her prerogative, so long as she votes Republican.
Yep.
And I think the Democrats would be much less inclined to put up with something like that, which I appreciate.
The Associated Press actually mentions what Ilhan Omar said, making comments critical of Israel in 2019. She apologized for that. And then also mentions how a representative from Iowa, Steve King, in 2019, who, quote, had a history of racist comments, was removed from the agriculture and judiciary panels after wondering aloud in a New York Times story about when the term, quote, white supremacist became offensive.
You dumb shit.
About how long ago would you say?
Back in my day, pussy-ass motherfucker was a term of endearment.
Well, that's a good note to end on.